Hello everyone. Today we have Mr. Harsh Mohapatra from XIMB BM batch of 2015, who is a chief manager of Siemens company, and he is here to share his experience. Sir, I would like to ask you a few questions. Sir, the first question is COVID has affected almost all sectors of business. What kind of changes are brought about by the COVID scenario in the operational management of your company?
Yeah, so first of all, good evening. So, thank you for having me here. And so, specific to Siemens, Siemens has the advantage of being an MNC and has liquidity at a global level. Yeah, the extent of lockdown was different across different countries, and specific to India, there was a shutdown in factories for like 2-3 months. So Siemens is very strict when it comes to business conduct, and it is very ethical and compliant in the way it functions. So once when Unlock 1.0 happened, and it was the time to reopen factories and warehouses, we had to ensure that we were in compliance with all the government norms like social distancing and minimum manpower which is allowed inside a factory. And apart from that, we had to ensure that all the third party laborers and contractors who were on site had sufficient medical insurance cover. Yeah, this is what we can say about the factories. And if we talk about the employees as such, Siemens in July 2020 announced a work from home policy for all their employees. This basically said that they are allowed to work from anywhere they want for the foreseeable future, so that their efficiency is maximized. And it is a big thing for a company to trust their employees to bring the maximum potential to the table. But again, Siemens is only as strong as all its partners, uh, its small scale vendors, contractors, distributors, etc. So we've been working tirelessly to kind of support all of our partners. If I have to talk about the area in Siemens which comes under my responsibility, it will be distributor and customer financing. So my biggest job during this time of pandemic was to ensure that all the benefits that have been announced by RBI, like interest and principal moratorium, repo rate reductions, specific benefits for MSMEs are effectively passed down onto all my distributors and customers for whom we have arranged financing for our from our core banking partners. Yeah. So this kind of help them manage their liquidity, survive these difficult times, and now they're basically back to doing business and making payment to Siemens once when the lockdown measures were diluted and the economy kind of opened up for business again. So in short, Siemens Limited has managed to bring back doing business and revenue numbers as they were last year in October at this point of time. And so that kind of gives you an idea of the effective management policies which Siemens was able to bring to the table in response to a sudden change in operation environment. Yeah. So that is it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, you must have made so many memories at XIMB. So my next question will be, if you could go back to your XIMB days, which will be the moment you want to relive again?
That is actually a very easy answer. It would be, I think, the expressions from my second year. I think that will be November 2014. I don't know how the managing committee managed it, but we got front row seats because, of course, we were seniors, and we had Coke Studio over at the campus, and we got to listen to Amit Trivedi for the whole night that day, and it was a magical evening as such. Yeah. So that's would be one memory which I would like to revisit again.
Sir, in this scenario, what will be your advice to the current students on the skills that they will require to acquire that will be useful in the upcoming times?
Okay, skill set specific advice if you guys require. So again, this is across all the board, yeah. So it doesn't matter which specialization you're working towards. It is pertinent to focus on Excel modeling. It doesn't matter whether you want to get into consultancy or investment banking or project financing or let's say marketing or customer analytics. Crunching numbers is what you will have to do, and Excel will be your savior there. I lucked out because I joined Kurukshetra in XIMB, and over that 1 month, the amount of financial modeling I do, it kind of helped me a lot. So they will be expecting you to know the basics when you join the company, and then this is something which you should be knowing. And then the second thing which I would like to say, but again, this is very finance specific, is that no matter what, again, industry you're getting into, consultancy, insurance, mutual funds, treasury, what kind of a profile you get into, it is very important that you have a very basic knowledge of the regulatory environment in India right now. So you have to be aware of the important circulars which the RBI has taken out, and I would recommend that you do some basic certifications, and specifically the good ones are, I think, certified by SEBI, and I think these are offered by NISM. I think that is National Institute of Securities. So that is something which you should be at least uh, to look at. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your advice. So, my next question is we all know that it is always difficult to change fields and try out different things. Being someone from an engineering undergraduate background, did you face any problem when you entered the finance domain? And what will be your advice to other such students who aspire to make a career in finance?
Okay, I'll go out of a limb here and advise you guys that, see, it doesn't matter if you don't have everything figured out right now. By the time you graduate and get into a company, it is okay. Things will work out. If you love doing something, if you have a passion for something, things will eventually fall into place. For me, at least, like, a background in engineering meant that I had an inclination towards mathematics and statistics, and that kind of translated into an obvious fact that I was good with numbers. And being good with numbers meant that you could use that for logical reasoning, and that kind of, by virtue of that, I kind of was good at subjects, topics under operations and finance, right? So by the time I graduated, again, I had a majors in operations and finance, so it kind of works out. And advice wise, I don't want to scare you guys out there, but a career in finance for a new entrant, it doesn't matter if it's a fresher or someone with prior work ex, it will be very challenging, and you will be required to do a lot of grunt work. And grunt work is how you establish credibility in an organization and showcase your skill sets. And someone might be good at financial modeling while someone might be good at negotiations of term sheets. It is all about kind of finding the skill set which works for you and gives you the maximum advantage. After 3-4 years in SBI Capital Markets, I was kind of good at doing financial modeling, and but that is not something which I wanted to continue doing in my career, right? If I was given a financial model to vet, I had the knowledge with me with which I could vet a model as such. So that is why I decided to take a jump from the lender side to the corporate side. Yeah. And that to a global MNC in my case, because for me, it was a priority that there should be work life balance and work culture wise. It might not be for you, and that is perfectly okay. It's all about your choice and what you want out of your work. Indian companies are anyways notorious of not being too employee friendly. And this pandemic has been proof enough to show the colors of true colors of many such Indian companies out there. So so it doesn't matter as such. And in today's time, I'm glad to tell you that all the news that you hear outside that the market is not good for finance profiles, and there are some certain colleges which are preferred for finance roles, that is completely untrue. Yeah. And again, the change which has been brought here is by international organization which are willing to look past your academics and focus more on your knowledge base and work experience. So there are companies out there which were probably not 5 years before when we passed out. Companies like multilateral agencies like IFCs, ADB, AIB, uh, international banks with representative offices in India like KfW, IPEX, Commerce Bank, BPI France, Credit Agricole, ECAs like Sinosure, Ksure, green energy companies, and of course, project advisory, finance advisory roles in corporates like Siemens, GE, Adani's, and Sterlite. Yeah, all this because India is now in the center of focus of the global economy, and with so many infrastructure projects currently ongoing in India, everyone wants a bit of a piece of the pie, right? So, in the end, I would like to emphasize again that please do not be disheartened by the grades that you get in XIMB. I myself almost just passed Professor Banikant's subject with a C in investment banking, and I managed to get into a investment banking firm. And of course, then life works out. I kind of figured out what I wanted to do, and finally ended up in Siemens. So it's always okay if you after placement you don't get into the job which you wanted to get into. You can always utilize that time to work on your relevant work experience, find the job role which you like, and then get into it at a later time. It's not a big issue. Yeah.
Thank you for your encouraging words, sir. Sir, my last question to you is you have worked in various fields like plant operation, financial advisory, and infrastructural advisory throughout your career. What would you say about your journey so far, and could you please share some of your experience with us?
So the journey has definitely been an enriching one. I have had the honor of working at some point of time for an organization which was the best in its respective sector. Yeah, I've always tried to take away best practices from each of these organizations and try to incorporate them in the way I function and deliver results in the subsequent organization. And if I have to talk about the background in electrical engineering, it has definitely helped me pave my career path through first power generation, then power sector advisory, and now finally financial advisory for a global leader in electrical manufacturing. Yeah. So during our days in plant operations in NTPC, we were accustomed to doing daily monotonous activities which are very essential for efficiency and effective operation of the plant. Yeah. So that day-to-day activity kind of makes you aware how the detailed processes are, and you're immediately able to catch any small outlier or error in the process. This also kind of translates into financial modeling. So you have to keep on practicing, and you kind of get an idea of how a financial model should be functioning under ideal scenario and with optimum inputs. So as soon as there is some error, you are able to catch the parameter which is, let's say for a case of project finance, you are able to figure out which parameter is making the project unviable for fund infusion. While it might be as small as something like how much minute details you put into making a presentation, let's say, which we kind of learned in SBI Caps, and which I now also use when I'm making presentations for senior management or for global collaboration. Yeah. So it is very important to keep it short, to keep it very crisp, to highlight the very specific numbers which you want to highlight, and keeping everything else in the background. So that sort of thing. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering all the questions.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable time.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's good to be uh, coming back here and kind of talking to you guys again. It's been a long time since I've had interaction with students, at least from XIMB.